Day 9. I'm 99.9% sure. Hey guys, I'm currently getting ready to go out with my hot lemon water. But we're going to watch the Muay Thai fights at the stadium because Ted is fighting in a week's time on the same fight card. So we're gonna go watch and visualise his fight. So yeah, I thought I'd talk while I'm getting ready. Basically, I'm going to be talking about falling out of love with partying. I was a fiend, like any other 13-year-old girl from the age of like 13 to 18, I'd say. I was hooked and probably too hooked, and I actually couldn't see a way out of it. It's kind of like starts off lighthearted, but it did get a bit too much, I'd say. I've got a very addictive personality and quite compulsive and like all or nothing, so it was never just like a drink or whatever else. Yeah, so that kind of like was a good few years of my life. Then as I started getting into this kind of stuff, self-development, I'd kind of like my heart fell out of love with it, but I'd go out and it just didn't feel right anymore. Like I just knew something wasn't right. However, that's all I ever knew, so like I'd still do it, go out, have a great time, but it started getting to the point where every single time was just instant big regret. I'd wake up the next day feeling like so heavy, and it wasn't just hungover, it wasn't just a come down, it was like, it wasn't right, this is not what I wanted anymore. So then I kind of like stopped, gradually being selfish, not going out. You know, it's where people start saying like, where have you been? I've not seen you in a long time. But I did go off travelling a lot and things like this, so it's kind of like common knowledge that I just wasn't really around. But when I travel, obviously you're meeting new people, you go out with them, and it was kind of like a toxic thing of like hating myself for going out because I knew that I didn't enjoy it that much. I reached a point like this year, I think when I was in Bali, where I was still solo travelling, but I wasn't going out, and I was really listening to myself, and I was like, I don't want to do it, why am I doing it? I'm saying this, I went out last night, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think every time I do go out on the odd occasion, it really reaffirms to me that I'm so done with it. I really try, blush. Now I'm going to talk about why, basically. So for one, the alcohol, the drugs, the whatever else, I couldn't socialise without a drink. Like, anxiety was through the roof. I drank before going out to meet my friends, any sort of date or anything like that. Didn't know who I was at all because my whole personality was based off getting fucked up, especially when I first started going out. It wasn't like I thought it was cool, it was kind of like a desire to just take it one step further than everybody else. Ask me why, I was struggling, honestly. It's been a long, slow process over the past few years of kind of like coming out of it, of overcoming FOMO. I do not get any sort of FOMO anymore. When I first kind of made the decision that I want to stop going out and like just stop saying yes to going out every weekend, even though it would make me feel terrible, I would get such bad FOMO. Like I'd see it on everyone's social media and stuff, and I'd literally be like, what am I doing with my life? This is the thing, everybody has a different idea of what fun is to them, and you know, this is highlight by the way guys, society kind of deems the life of the party as a really outgoing person that's really social and that, you know, goes out, drinks and everything, like that's the life of the party. But that's not everybody's life of the party. It was a like proper struggle. I lost a shit ton of friends. Like this is why I literally have 2 friends now who both still drink a lot, so even then it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a really lonely experience because when I do go out with them, and I can still have a good time, like I said, like when I went to South Africa I was drinking on a regular and that was just before Bali, and I had the time of my life, and when I go back to South Africa next year I'm gonna drink and go out. But I'm talking about going out when on a regular basis, if it doesn't sit right with you, it's just not a me thing. This is brow gel. I think it's really important that if you're somebody that goes out like on a regular, like all the time and gets fucked up all the time, and if most of your friendships are based off of, like mine were, just going out with people and getting really fucked up. You can be friends with anyone when you're drunk. Of course you're gonna make a shit ton of friends and be like, this is the fucking life. But when you go home and you're alone the next day, sober, and you can't face yourself, so you need to call up your friends and move your friends the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, and constantly just be distracted and surrounding yourself with people because you can't face yourself, then that's when it's kind of an issue. And if you don't like who you are sober, that's when it's an issue. If you can't socialise without being on some sort of substance, that's when it's the issue. So it's not an issue for everyone, I'm not saying that, but if you do have this like calling to veer away from that for a while, listen to it, because I've never felt so myself, and I've never felt so guided by like life, and that everything is just heading in the complete right direction because I'm so clear headed at the moment. And yeah, brow pencil. Obviously, I think that's it at the end of the day. It's the process of learning to love yourself as yourself. And like I said in another video, it's just getting to know yourself as a person, because like everybody says, you only have yourself at the end of the day. Isn't that a lyric? It's really sad because of how young people start. Like I said, by 13 was heavy on this lifestyle. And because you're so young and you're growing and your brain hasn't even like figured itself out at all, but you're just consuming all this shit, and especially when you're in so many groups and you're just becoming the people that you're around, and like I think everybody loses themselves, and not a lot of people, hardly anyone, like stops and realizes this and thinks, okay, maybe I should take a little bit of time off to find myself again. And then they get to the age of like 40 with kids and they're still drinking most days, and they're like, whoa. Or for some it might not ever hit them, like the realization that they don't know who they are, they rely so dependently on this stuff, toxic stuff. Like, I genuinely think alcohol is demonic. Like I said, I still do it. I still drink occasionally, and it's taken so long to get to this point, and I never in a million years would have thought I'd be saying this now. I was having huge signs from the universe to stop, because there was a period where like every time I was to drink, I'd do something really fucked up, and like there'd always be like a huge drama, and it was just to the point where I was like, what am I doing now? Like, listen to what the fucking world is telling you. I'm only 20 years old, so yeah, a lot of people will be like, you're so young, just go and live your life. But that to me isn't living my life. It's all still a process, it's all still fairly new to me. And I do think I'm actually gonna reach a point in my life where I actually completely give up alcohol. I feel like I have that in me. But while I am young, I don't mind the odd occasional social drink. And I think finally, I can appreciate a casual drink and just like having a nice glass of wine at dinner. Whereas before, if I had a nice glass of wine at dinner, I wasn't getting until 6 a.m. the next morning off my face. I don't know what else I do with my face now. I'm kind of like, I can't multitask like this. If you're having signs as well to slow down, then you should listen to yourself. Like if you're waking up from every night out now, looking at your bank account thinking, what the fuck, why did I spend that much money? Was it even worth it? What did I do last night? You have anxiety every day. That's a big sign, anxiety. You should not be waking up in the morning feeling like in deep regret of the day that you had before. Like, it's not right. My family are big drinkers, and when I was kind of like veering off drinking, to them, to my brother, to my dad, they was kind of like, what the fuck? Like if I was at a family event and I didn't want to drink, then I'm what the fuck? Yeah, I just think it is quite funny how it's frowned upon to not want to drink. Like, what is the problem with wanting to be sober? And you start to appreciate like real dopamine and in the morning on a weekend and saving money. This is how, when people say, how did you save for travelling? I just stopped fucking going out. I stopped spending like £100 a week. And for some people, double, triple that. That's kind of it on this one. I feel like there's a lot more I want to say about this because it was a huge part of my life. and it still is, to be fair. Yeah, the reason I'm talking about this is because of last night. So I went out with my friend, obviously she arrived, and I left early. I did, but she was perfectly fine staying out, and I did warn her, like, we decided to go out for dinner and like a drink or something, and she was really craving going out. Sometimes you have to make some sacrifices and do things for other people that you don't want to do in order to keep others happy, but you do need to remember to keep yourself happy first. That's the big thing here. Like, I went out with her, but it got to a point where I'd had a few and I was like, I don't really want to be here, I'll be so honest. We met somebody else that she was with, and I was like, that's fine, I'm gonna get a cab home. I feel like an old nana. You don't have to believe that you're only gonna be fun if you drink. So I think that's kind of it from me today. Like I said, I'm saying all this, I will still drink on the odd occasion. After Ted's fight, I'm pretty sure we've got plans to go out and probably get smashed and have a good night. But I'm saying about the lifestyle thing, on a regular basis, as a lifestyle, just really evaluate what you're doing, if it's worth it, if you're having like regrets and stuff like that, and just, yeah, there are other options and there's a lot more out there than just getting backed up, which not a lot of people want to hear. Yeah, we're gonna go to the stadium and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh.